Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Today it's just me, not a super exciting video, but one I wanted to do for a while. I did this with Prentice Hub and Nate Leszewski. It's going to be analyzing their 2019-2020 season and looking ahead to 2020-21 and predicting their stats and saying what I would be happy with and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't watched those two, just go watch those after if you want. I don't think I'll be able to leave a link in the description. I'll probably forget, but they'll be in they're on my channel, so just click the thing. But this one's Juwan Durham. I think he's going to have a decent year this year, but first let's go back to last year. He had a decent year last year, not great. He did say he's got to get better in the offseason, so I don't know how happy he was with it. At times he was good. He wasn't really consistent, though. You saw games like Duke where he had 21 points on 9 for 13 shooting, and games like Pitt where he went 5 for 5 from the field even when they were going a small lineup. But there were also games like Virginia Tech where he had 2 points, or Georgia Tech where he had 0, equally as many of both. So I think we got to get that up. It kind of seemed like he was in the shadow of John Mooney, but I think he could be in for a nice increase in stats this year just because he's not in the shadow of him anymore. He's kind of one of the guys now. Obviously, Prentice Hub, Cormac, and Nate are going to have high usage rates, but I think Juwan's usage rates could also go up this year. But yeah, that's all I got to say from him this year. I think he had a decent year, not great, but he was a really good guy to have around. Had a good defensive year, was good offensively at times. Even defensively, he could have been more consistent, but he had 2.1 blocks per game. It was a decrease from last year, but I think that's really valuable, especially Jack Nolan brought it up on the radio show. He blocks the ball inbounds a lot of times, so it's not just empty blocks where they just score later in the possession, but he blocks it inbounds. Like in the Clemson game, he blocked it off a guy's head, and then Rex got it, and I think they scored on the fast break after that. So I think that's something really valuable he does, and he improved on that this year. His stats from this year: he averaged 7.8 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game. Obviously, like I said, 2.1 blocks, and he shot 56.5% from the field. Let's go from his senior year to his fifth year, or his junior to his senior year. Let's compare his stats. So I think Juwan Durham senior year leap was a little underrated. It wasn't a huge
really good
leap.
team defense right now by Notre Dame.
Got up 2 points. But I do think it was pretty valuable to
the
team.
follow flush,
Perfect
position for Juwan Durham.
Transition because the defense hasn't got set.
He went from 5.7 points per game to 7.8 points per game. Got a 2-point increase. 3.9 rebounds to 4.6 rebounds.
35 Notre Dame
fun fact about that, Nate also had the exact same leap, 3.9 to 4.6.
Gary A from the baseline, rejected by Durham.
I feel like a lot of the offseason stuff's getting repetitive, but I thought that was
Gives the lob.
His blocks actually did go down from 2.3 to 2.1. I don't think that's a huge deal. It's 2/10 of
Notre Dame early on,
he still got
silencing the Tucker Center.
He also shot 50%, 57% from the
Stop
field
to the
for
races.
his junior year, and 56.5%
And he turns it over
from the field in his senior year. I don't think that's a huge
Up
deal.
the lob
Also,
for Durham.
0.5%, half a
15
percent.
out of 14, and good free throw shooters
yeah,
all over the court.
He didn't increase in scoring too much.
Oh my goodness! 1-point game, bigger than this. Just those long arms and a very weak inbound pass by Raekwon Gray. This is just a great job by Durham to react to the pass. And again,
and Mike Bray has been dealing with this for 20 years, where football was not a member of the Big East, and they're not a member of the ACC. And he's not the only coach.
Averaging in the mid-70s per game, and a lot of teams, when Notre Dame is on offensively, just can't keep up with them. There's a basket and one.
Just steps to the ball and gets the tie.
And then he scores and gets the ball.
Improved a lot.
And that is the second time we have seen him, once in the first half and now in this half,
I guess I'll just
getting it up to the basket. He just does a nice job forcing his way down in the lane. Hamilton not big enough to stop him.
Improved to 13 and 6.5.
Well out against Mac.
Which is pretty good. I think Juwan maybe he won't have an increase like that.
This is Fluger.
Kind of like Nate.
Lob backdoor Durham to catch and flush.
He'll have that kind of increase.
6 offensive rebounds versus Pitt in their win. John Moody for Notre Dame. So you must keep him off the offensive glass.
This year, I would love to see Juwan extend his range a little bit. I think this year, all he really took was post fades, little hook shots, and he caught alley-oops and some post-ups. But I think he can really extend his range. He was pretty much a threat from anywhere inside the three-point line in high school. He even hit a couple threes that I saw, but he hasn't even made a three in his career at Notre Dame. He reposted a thing yesterday on Instagram that said they haven't even seen the range yet. So I think he will be working on that this year. I hope he does, because he can really stretch the floor a lot better. He won't just be that guy inside. That's what's so appealing to having Nate in the lineup for me, is they can stretch the floor. Can almost just run a 5 out. But with Juwan, I think if he can stretch the floor like that, you saw those little post fades at Duke. I think in Boston College he hit a few also. But if he can do that more consistently, I think that'll be huge for him. Just like I said a second ago, I want to see more consistency. We saw the Duke game. We saw how good he can be, 9 out of 13. I mean, if he can do that, if he can do half of that every game, we're in really good shape with him. He can average 10 points a game doing that, so that's great. I just want to see him be more consistent. Even defensively, he wasn't consistent. Even like the Wake Forest game, he was bad defensively. Olivier Sarr lit him up. But, I mean, Bray said they didn't play any defense that game, so you can't really argue with that. I just think if he can be more consistent on both ends of the floor, he can have a really good year. Kind of like this guy, Mitch. He can be more consistent. He can be great. I don't know. I think if he can be consistent, he could be one of the best players on this team. And the last thing I have is stay out of foul trouble. I can't really find any stats about this. They don't really keep track of this on ESPN, where I get all my stats from. But to me, it seemed like he was in foul trouble a decent bit this year. I think maybe the first Boston College game, the second, I don't know, one of the Boston College games he was in foul trouble, and there was one or two others. So he had to sit out, and Mooney was gassed. But that's what I have for what I want to see him do outside of statistically. But statistically, I don't think this is a huge ask. I want to see him get double-digit points. He averaged, 7.8 points per game. So I think that's really possible. It's only a 2-point increase, which is a lot smaller than I want from most of the guys. But if we can have, say, Juwan in double digits, Nate, Cormac, and Prentice, or even 3 of the 4 in double digits, we'll be in really good shape. I want to see a nice increase in rebounds. I don't need him to put up Mooney numbers, but I'd love to see like 7 or 8 from him. Him and Nate, if they both put up 7 or 8 a game, I think that would really help to take a chunk out of Mooney's. And then if you think Dane Goodwin could probably get a few, Carmody could probably get a few, Elijah Taylor or Zona if they're in the game, even Sanders if he's in the game, and could all get rebounds, kind of replace Mooney to an extent. Obviously, if you're losing a guy who's getting 12 boards a game and double-digit boards back-to-back, setting ACC records, I mean, it's going to be really tough to replace that. But if you can take a chunk out of that, like maybe Juwan can with Nate, 7-8 a game, I think that would be huge. So with blocks, I'm not too concerned about that. I'd be encouraged by an increase. I'd love to see an increase from him. But, I mean, if he's going to get 2 blocks a game, I'm never going to complain about that. Ryan Humphrey described him as a defensive specialist. You can definitely see that. I mean, he moves extremely well laterally, stays with guys, kind of moves like a guard. Like Bray was saying, his footwork is really good. I just want to see an increase if that's possible, but I'm never going to complain when a guy has 2 blocks a game. Same thing with field goal percentage. His field goal percentage was pretty good. Even for a low post guy, it was not bad. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to see from him. Just double-digit points, 7 or 8 rebounds. And I think that'd be a really successful 5th year for him. So thank you guys for watching. We'll try to get more videos up soon. It's been tough to get the guys together. It's even been tough for me to film because of school. But maybe we can get together soon and film a video. But yeah, that's all I got. Talk to you guys later. Go Irish. Peace.